this is like an.
That's like the ultimate one. Oh, it's an extender.
Yeah, the extender to the
Nice.
Zoom.
Sick. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I have the other one too. That's only 2 inputs.
Yeah. Very impressive.
This one's much nicer. You ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Did you guys all met
In high
grade
school.
In high school. Okay.
These guys met long before that.
Our mothers were best friends, so we were mandatory friends.
Really?
Yeah.
College
play dates,
roommates, yeah.
Forced play dates.
Still mandatory friends now that we're in the band. Just kidding.
Yeah, their moms knew each other. I met Johnny in 6th grade. Met Kit in high school. And then we started the band in 2002 when we were like 16 years old.
Nice.
That's the first band.
Sparky's Flaw. Same
Sparky's-
band, just different name.
Different name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just played like our high school talent show, some local stuff, and then once we got to college at various universities, we kind of just started really playing around town.
Oh, okay.
And up and down the East Coast.
And how did you? How did you start getting into music?
I took piano lessons, and once I got to middle school, I kind of learned how to play enough piano to write songs. So I just started playing guitar and
We all spent years in the
marching band together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Johnny and I
great
played
days.
drums together. Kit played saxophone, and then Kit quit.
Thank God.
Yeah. And Johnny and I kept
The cool
going.
guy.
but yeah, we all grew up playing music. Johnny's dad's a drummer,
Wow.
so he was born to be a drummer,
Oh, yeah.
forced into it.
Yep. Mandatory.
Does he still play drums now?
I still play drums.
No, your dad, your father.
I
I
moved on
figured
to
that you
bass.
did.
No, my dad does play. Plays
He
in a
do-
couple bands in
Really?
town and builds drums too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you?
Playing one of his kits now.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to like see him play and stuff when you're? Way
Oh
young?
yeah, oh yeah. Dragged to all his gigs. And, yeah, it
Were
was
you like a
fun.
tech
Oh,
for him?
he'd have me sit in since I was like in 4th grade.
Really?
Yeah, it's very fun.
Johnny's a bit of a local celebrity.
Absolutely.
Is that what inspired you guys to start a band? Like just seeing how cool it was?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that and not being able to make it on any sports team.
Yeah,
really,
that's the
so
other one.
Yeah.
It's the only other thing we
Same.
could do. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all grew up listening to like Dave Matthews Band, and they were from Charlottesville, so we all really wanted to be a band like that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily them, but just seeing the kind of respect they got around town, I felt like we saw it as our. It just seemed really fun. So
Sure.
They were a real direct inspiration in us starting the band for sure.
Okay.
Which is maybe not musically, but even then we were just trying to play Dave Matthews songs together. So
Oh.
very
That's how it all
bad.
began.
You started with covers of
Yeah, Weezer covers, System of a Down,
Oh man.
Dave Matthews Band.
You name it.
You name it, we
would
tried
try
it. Yeah, it was really bad.
That's awesome.
That's it. Yeah, System of a Down. That seems like an interesting.
Not
one
our
from you
choice. Our
guys.
first guitarist loved them. So
Oh.
Chop
we just-
suey.
Yeah, we didn't really
Yeah.
know why he liked them so much, but he was into them, so we did it.
Right on. So okay, so you two knew each other like early on,
Oh, yeah.
and then you met Will in high school, or you said
I met Johnny in
school?
middle
Sixth grade.
school, and then Kit in high school.
Okay, and then when did you guys decide to start jamming together and form what became Sparky's Flaw?
2002.
It's like 10th, 11th grade.
Yeah,
Okay.
10th grade-ish was the first real jam session in my parents' basement.
Okay,
They lived right next to the high school.
Yeah,
It
we
was
come
just-
over after school. And
Yeah, yeah.
and just
play.
play.
The
My mom would
same
give us an
song
hour
over and
every
over
day.
and over.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
She gave us 1 hour right after school.
Would she like leave the house?
She knew,
Gosh, I
like,
don't know what you would do.
yeah, I think it was like more like she just needed to know there was going to be an end point to it.
Yeah.
After the first week, it was like, all right, we can't do this indefinitely. Because we were really bad. So I think for her, it was, she was excited that we had something to do. But I also think that she realized, all our parents realized that Kit's mom eventually took over the rehearsals, and Johnny's dad
Oh.
left
Up
for
in the
some
attic
reason.
that time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it was
Oh.
like everybody's parents took their tour of duty for sure.
That's a good way.
Yeah.
Rotation. Like-
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they must-
yeah. But it was my parents' basement. It was unfinished. But there was one little room where there's carpet down, so we play in there.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Lots of jams.
You want
Yeah.
to tell us about, like, do you remember those early shows that you guys, like,
Yeah,
your
for
first
sure.
shows?
Battle of the Bands at high school was like first 3 songs. Everybody got 3 songs. We played that one.
Did not win.
Did not win.
You didn't win.
Were those covers or your own?
Couple originals and the System of a Down cover.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was our calling card. Yeah. He got to sing that one, and then I sang the other ones. He quickly left the band because we had very diverging musical tastes,
Yeah.
and started a rival band.
Oh yeah.
Aw.
But plenty of little clubs in town that would let us play, and local bands that would let us open and stuff.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, it was fun.
Used to play like parties down at UVA, like, you know.
Or just straight up busking on.
Yeah, we
mall.
go downtown and just play terribly.
Oh,
Make
wow.
up songs about people walking by, that kind of thing. And then, yeah, the other ones were like friends' parties, a lot of those.
Okay.
Because they were like, yeah, we got a PA system, and we're like, we can come anywhere.
Yeah.
They'd let us play for like
Self-contained.
45 minutes. They're like, "Hey, you guys have loudspeakers. You want a DJ?"
Yeah. Like, can we turn on a playlist? So it didn't ever last long, but we had a good time.
Yeah. Do you remember doing your first tour? Was that still with Sparky's Flaw, or did that kind of...
It was kind of a weird transitional period.
Yeah.
I think we were parachuted at that point with John McLaughlin.
Yeah, that was the first real tour.
No, I'd say like we did some weekends in college with OAR,
Oh, okay.
who had the same management as us, and they were always really kind to us. So they let us play. Like we do like 4 or 5 shows in a row with them. So that
Oh,
was kind of like
cool.
our first taste of that. But the first real one we did was right after college, like a month with this guy John McLaughlin, who's a good friend of ours, singer-songwriter from Nashville, and he was on his first big headlining run and brought us out, and we've been good friends ever since. But it's definitely slogging into the van.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first taste of touring was probably first or second year of college, like the first, or maybe later, I don't remember, but sometime in college, like
It was like the real...
5 in a row, staying in
Yeah.
one hotel room for all of us.
Up and down the
Was
East
that up and down the
Coast.
East Coast?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do like,
Kind of
You go-
spider webbed out.
Buffalo down to, Columbus, Ohio, or down
Or
to
Florida?
Yeah, down to like South Carolina.
Okay.
A lot of Florida dates in there.
Yeah, a lot of Florida. Yeah, exactly.
Did you have a booking agent? Or did you?
We did. We had a small booking agent in
At that point, yeah.
in college. Yeah, we got one mid-college, and she was booking for some really interesting bands, like May, that band from Virginia Beach. They were like kind of in the tooth and nail sort of emo scene.
Oh,
They
sure,
were, like,
okay.
Kind of smart. I don't know how to describe it. Like really philosophical rock.
Yeah.
And then a lot of like emo bands.
Uh-huh.
So it
We
was
were
some
playing
interesting
all those
bills.
shows.
Yeah, it was really interesting bills for us. 'Cause we were
Cracking
like
my
this
saxophone out.
saxophone,
Awesome.
acoustic guitar. But it was
In front
fun.
of a bunch of
Yeah,
orange amps.
Once she started booking us in other cities, it was like, this is it. you know?
Yeah.
So she was playing us in Philly and New York, and we'd drive up there on weekends and come back for school. It's
Nice.
a good time.
How did you pick up your management and then of getting signed to Mercury? Like, how
Yeah.
did that like process all kind of
We were in
unfold?
Atlanta, Georgia. We met a girl named June Nera, who worked for BMI, who's like,
Yeah.
the songwriting rights organization, and the PRO, and she was carrying her friend who was really drunk, and so we sketchily in our van offered her a ride. We were being nice, but in hindsight,
Yeah.
it was really weird. But she was so friendly. She was like, "Yeah, sure." So she got in the car, and we told her like, "We're a band, we're here," and it was for a music festival or something,
Yeah.
like a music conference kind of thing. And
Okay.
she was like, "Well, you signed up with BMI?" And we're like, "Actually, yes, we just signed up with them." So she looked us up. We gave her like a CD, and she had a good friend who's a lawyer named Dave Costner, and he reached out to us. She sent it to him like, "You should listen to this band."
Uh-huh.
He eventually called, and we had no idea why a lawyer was calling, so we like ignored his calls.
Oh.
You're like, what did we
But he was
do?
really persistent. Yeah. And he
Thank God
eventually
he's
explained-
persistent.
Yeah, he explained to us. He's still a lawyer today. One of our best friends, and like
Yeah.
one of the few constants in our career. So he kind of was the one who really saw the potential, and which is amazing that he could see that in such a bad demo. But he was the one who started saying like, "I got a plan for you guys. I'll wind." He was working with a lot of young bands at that point. His passion is really developing artists, and he was, friends with everybody in the industry, and so he was able to sort of get the management in order. And our first managers at the time were based in Charlottesville, actually. So
Oh, okay.
they had known of us, but it kind of took getting Dave involved for them to really take us seriously. And,
Yeah.
so it was just by happenstance we happened to meet him, and he was really the one who wound everybody up in a way that just kind of put us on the radar and was able to convince them it was worth taking a look at.
Cool.
which was cool. Yeah, especially for a band. I mean, that's always the question: is like, how do you do that? And for
Yeah.
us, it was like him. He was
Yeah,
it.
it's that lucky break. Yeah.
So he kind of he connected you.
He had this sort of constellation of people that he's really like intuitive guy and very young and understands how it works because he was in a band too, and so he kind of knew what we needed and was able to kind of get rid of all the excess stuff we probably would have had to go through to get to those kind of people. So
Sure.
he kind of was able to connect us in the right way and just really helpful. Like really understood what a young band needed
And what you guys were
yeah,
trying to
and
accomplish.
yeah, exactly, and got the music and understood we had a tiny bit of spark there that he saw potential in.
And Johnny, did your dad like intervene and be like, "Let me look at this contract"?
Oh no, he was just sign away.
Oh.
Yeah, guys, do it.
Oh no, he was very proud. And,
Yeah, I can
and
imagine.
trust us very much. And
Yeah, he's
trust,
very helpful too.
Trust
so.
Dave. So.
Yeah, he was. It's funny, like just knowing the stories from your dad being a band and stuff. You can and like knowing the connections around town and hearing both the horror stories and the good stories. We had a really good sort of blueprint for what worked and what didn't.
Okay.
Right.
Because Charlottesville was such an interesting music scene that like you can kind of glean a bunch of stories from a bunch of different people there. So we were like young, asking everybody,
Yeah.
how'd you fail?
What did you
Why
do
didn't it work?
wrong?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it was good in that way, and terribly untactful in our sense.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what you do.
So you guys get signed to Mercury. At this point, did you already have like a record ready to go
That's a good
record, or
Yeah, we
or
it
did you
was
have
more
music
kind of
out
just
already?
playing in the region, developing our songs and recording them while we could.
Mhm.
And then Corn Capsules, Red Light Management, who we were just talking about, it's in Charlottesville. They finally agreed to kind of get on board and got us connected with Mercury at a showcase in New York. Kind of made it official after we had an EP at that
Yeah,
point.
we had an
already
EP.
kinda done.
But we didn't have like a full length, and then
Yeah.
Oh, so you
But
had an
enough
EP out,
enough
but
for them to want to try it out.
so when you went to New York to like play in front of them, like
Yeah, it was
how
one
was
of those-
that?
Oh yeah.
awkward. I mean, it was like a show. Like it's at a little place called Arlene's Grocery. I don't think it's even there anymore. I think they closed down. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, we did like a showcase there, and they came out on a couple other labels, and
Rachel Ray was there.
Oh.
Rachel Ray was randomly there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
she was.
Yeah.
It was really weird,
Wow.
but they took a flyer on us.
Pretty
and
much all I remember.
the next day,
Cool.
I think we agreed to the short form, and
Yeah.
and then it was like we kind of had been working with a producer in Charlottesville, a guy named Chris Coip and Stuart Myers, and the kind of plan was to work with them on the record, and so Mercury, the plan was kind of in place to do that. So we'd already been working with them a bunch, really buckled down, and actually started writing and picking up songs, and worked with a few other people too. But so the bones of like the recording plan was there, but we just didn't have all the songs yet. So
Yeah.
it was like we graduated in 2008. And then it wasn't until 2009 that we put out an album. So we spent that whole year writing and recording and all that stuff. So it just took a little while.
Is that when you went on like a proper, like your first kind of big?
Yeah, that was
Tour.
John McLaughlin and OAR took us out. Kelly Clarkson took us out on that
Oh,
tour.
wow.
So
That was
cool.
the big one for us.
Yeah,
That was
for
like
sure.
the biggest one we played. And yeah, we just kind of hit the road. Like we had a weird sync that kind of took the song She Is Love. And that kind of gave us like the credibility to be like, hey, take these guys on tour. So a lot of people took a chance on us at that point, as many people do when a song gets hot like that. So for us, it was a lot of waiting for a year. And then once that song came out in the commercial, it was like, hit
That's
the
what-
road. And
yeah.
that was
It
that.
was on a
So-
commercial, right?
Yeah, it was. It
Yep.
was
The Nivea
Skincare.
commercial.
Nivea,
such
yeah.
a weird pairing. Yeah, it worked out great. We got a ton of skincare stuff.
Hey.
But yeah, it was like one of those freak things that allowed us to start asking for those opening slots. And
Yeah.
then from there, it was just like hit the road.
How'd you get hooked up with the commercial, or is that all done kind of behind
Yeah,
the scenes?
they played it for him in a meeting in the label.
Yeah.
And that was it. They were just like, we're looking for something acoustic. And they were like, well, we only have really one band that's doing that. So there you go. And like played him the song, and that was that. So it worked out. We were kind of the only band who had an acoustic song on our album at that point. 'Cause It
Wow.
was like a lot of rock, like The Killers, a lot of
Right,
pop,
right.
Justin Bieber, and then kind of us in the Hot AC world that was.
I remember Duffy had the one
Yeah,
before
yeah.
us. So they already had like a relationship with with the company.
Okay.
So we just came in at the right time when they needed the next song.
The next band
Worked
to-
out great.
We happily took
And they
it.
loved it.
Yeah, exactly.
I still love that song.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
We still enjoy playing it. Doesn't get too old. It did at one point, but after that, we're back in it now.
Yeah, it's like the one song that your audience always wants you guys to play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have no problem playing it.
Yeah.
We're all in.
Switch it up from time to time. So.
Yeah.
Is that your encore song?
No, not anymore.
No,
It's
maybe it
funny
should
that it gets a good reaction, but there's so many other songs now that feels like
Right.
the fans who are coming out to shows at least are like more excited about. So that's a good feeling. You're like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's not just like everybody's clearing out the moment that song's done, so we can afford to play it a little bit if needed.
What inspired the name change? Going back a little bit.
Well, Sparky's Flaw is just a miserable name, and we
Very
we
bad.
came to realize that. Only really because no one ever understands it the first time you say it. They're like,
What?
they always
Every time.
say something different.
Sparky Slaw.
And
even coleslaw.
promoters couldn't even spell it. We'd show up to shows, and the
Oh.
marquee would just be just a rant,
Wrong.
Like, what
Wrong.
does
Yeah,
that
exactly.
say? It was just a bad name. And
It was
I
a
think we could all
business
agree on
decision,
that.
and then once our lawyer really sat us down, was like, "You guys do not want to be known as that."
This is your chance to change
Yeah,
it.
it's like you'll never have this
you
chance
want to
again.
do that, and we were like,
So
you're
he
right,
convinced
you're
us.
None of us were upset about it. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So
And how'd
then
you come up with Parachute?
just the first
Still,
name
there's a lot of brainstorming. That was the one the 5 of us at the time all kind
felt
of
good, and
felt
then
good about.
honestly, like it's kind of finding the right one that no one's really taken yet, and you
Yeah.
can kind of make into your own thing. So we realized that one hadn't been taken. We're like, then you get more excited about it because you're like, we don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
So we thought it fit well, and then yeah, legally it was doable. So we had some really bad ideas, but in the good, I'm glad that won out. It
Oh,
was-
yeah.
it was terrible.
When you guys got when you got the record deal, I'm sure your parents must have been pretty ecstatic if going
Oh,
picked
yeah.
up by a
So
record.
much excitement.
Like,
I think like we could. Kit's mom like helped us buy our van, so we could like pay her back now, and like
Yeah.
I owed my
parents.
parents money for like parking tickets for my years in college. Like all these things, like suddenly were like, we told you it'd work. So they were very excited, but yeah, they were just. I don't think they quite understood it. I don't think we really understood it at that point. So they just knew that like we got to play shows, which
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
awesome.
So it's
And-
just the next step for us, and that when that came along, we're like, great, let's do it.
yeah,
Let's,
and
yeah.
then
keep
you
going.
but then you're getting put on these bigger tours.
yeah,
I
and they
mean,
could come out and see it kind of like working, and they never really doubted it. It wasn't like anybody sat us down and like, you guys shouldn't do this. Everybody, all 3 of our parents were like
supportive,
super
from-
into it. Even now, like doesn't matter what show it is, they'll come out. And
Oh.
Johnny and Kit's mom were just at the show the other night.
Wow.
Our parents
Wow.
came out in Charlottesville. Like it's fun because they all, especially like
Oh, yeah.
Johnny's dad knowing the music industry, our parents having seen us do it since high school. It's just they're really supportive.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
always were, even with the record deal. Like, so you're not going to get a job out of college, You're gonna
Right.
do this
Yeah.
thing.
That would be the question. I had, like, were they kind of like, well, you just went to school, and
No,
now
it's more
you're
like
not,
you
yeah.
finished school, you're cool, you can do whatever
Yeah.
you want.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I got you
yeah.
through college, you're done. Like, you're out of my hands.
Yeah.
It's on you now. So, but my mom let us live there at their like a couple of the guys lived at our house, and Kit's mom would let us practice in her attic at that point too, and it was good. It was like everybody. There wasn't a moment of like nobody was sitting there being like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody's questioning your
It was good.
guys' decision to do that.
We're lucky.
Yeah.
When you guys were in college, how did you guys manage touring and still taking your classes?
Lot
No
of-
classes on Fridays.
Yeah, a lot of skipping class.
Nice.
Just a lot of Tuesday, Thursday classes.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
pack it in
yeah.
on those 3-day weekends as best
If we were going north, we'd swing up and grab Kit. If we were going south, he'd come down to Charlottesville, and we'd leave from there. And just one of those, like, as long as it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we could do it. But
That's
Wow.
and if it was other days, we'd just skip class. None of us were really too academically minded at that point. So as long as we passed, we were fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you go to school for music or anything? Or
I did, yeah. Kim went to school for business. Johnny hung out.
Yep.
nice.
But yeah, my music teachers were pretty cool with me. They're like, just send pictures, man. And
Right.
they let
Aw.
me skip class. So.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was very different than the kind of music they were doing, but they all appreciated it, so it worked out.
Yeah.
Were you-
Go ahead.
Were you playing piano then, or?
No, it was more like composition and ethnomusicology and like computer music and really weird avant-garde computer music. So they were not. They were just kind of humored by this little pop band that I was in.
Yeah.
The fact that we were doing it in the studio and touring, they got a kick out of it. So they were always really supportive. But the stuff they were doing is so far beyond anything that we're doing. It's like choral music and actual like composition.
Yeah.
Conducting, and it's just very classically oriented, that program. But
Did you keep in contact with any of those teachers?
yeah, some of them. They'll reach out every now and then and be like, "Hey, saw this, heard this." It's really cool. A couple of them, my advisor and a couple other composition guys, who like do more classical composing, but they'll like comment on songs and stuff that they hear of ours. Like our new album, one of the teachers reached out and
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah. So it's always really interesting to like hear their take on things. And
Yeah.
you sitting there, you're like, man, you guys are listening to these pop songs. You're writing symphonies, but it's
Right.
fine.
That's
It's a
cool.
good time. But yeah, I think they just get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but you're probably doing. Oh, sorry, what they.
Well,
grew
yeah,
up
they,
probably
they were all
wanting
music
to do.
fans.
They wanted to play big arenas and
They're
tour
enjoying
and-
seeing one of their own. And there's other kids
Yeah.
doing cool stuff from that program my year. But yeah, it's just such a unique kind of situation, especially for the kids that come out of that program, that I think they've always been really tickled by it.
Yeah, definitely.
And you were a celebrity on campus, so
No big deal. That was my peak. Sure.
Kit, you got a degree in business.
Correct, yeah.
So do you do like the business aspect of the band?
I mean, we've got a great management team. We got a great business manager. They're more than capable of handling what we do. But I do like to have help out, and it's always nice when at least one of the people on the band side of things is helping them.
Yeah.
Because there's so much they can't see or anticipate. So yeah, I do like to.
Kit's our man on the
kinda help
ground.
them out. I'm the man on the ground.
Yeah.
it's nice to have.
He can report back to you guys on what's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on on the back end.
We
Translate.
trust. Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Are any of you seeing someone that's across the ocean?
No, none across the pond. My wife and I dated long distance for 3 years, so
Oh, okay.
it was that song in particular was about that. And sometimes when you're writing, you can kind of fit in a story after the fact.
Yeah.
But that one was a true direct inspiration from that. So we dated a long time without being in the same city.
Wow.
Wow.
And then it was being apart from Johnny also.
It's hard.
It is.
It's hard.
Living in a different city.
Was there for this record? Did you guys approach it any differently than the previous albums?
Not too differently. We'd fleshed out a lot of stuff before we went in the studio, which is different than usual.
Right.
Sometimes we'll just go in blind and I'll have the bare bones song, but this time we had kind of
We just had a little more time before.
yeah,
being in the studio,
yeah.
And also didn't have a ton of time in the studio, so it really made sense to have them kind of ready to go.
So you had everything this time around. You kind of
Very
had everything.
demoed out, very
Yeah.
kind of
Ready to
like
go.
Yeah.
did a lot of the thinking outside the studio, which is nice because you're not put on the spot.
Yeah.
We took our time, like, you can spend 3 months on a song trying to get something right, and that instead of like trying to do it in 10 minutes in the studio, which is nice. So for us, that was definitely a little different. But overall, it's kind of just like me writing the songs, these guys kind of chiming in with their opinions, and then we go in.
And a lot of
and-
listening to Jacquire, because he's a wonderful producer, and we were very lucky to work with him. So
And do you work with him on? Have you worked with him on all the records? Or
No, this is the first one with him.
oh yeah,
Okay.
this is the first one.
He's really we've been a huge fan of the records he's made, and a lot of ones we didn't even know he made, but he made. So once he started talking to us, we realized all the kind of connections between our taste and what he's done.
Yeah.
It was a no-brainer, and he really got what we were trying to go for. Really was excited about the songs, really encouraging about it all, and just a nice, calm demeanor in the studio, which is cool.
Yeah.
Very easygoing, great referee when he needed to be, but
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like really got what we were trying to go for and knew how to make it better. So, and again, there wasn't like a lot of fighting, a lot of like arguing or butting heads about. Sometimes with producers, they like want to be the
Right.
sixth member or something, and he really felt like he was more like, I want to facilitate what you guys want to do,
That's awesome.
and understood what we were going for. So
yeah.
it was cool.
And improved on it a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's
And,
really good at picking up on
like made
our
sure to.
vibe.
Yeah, he understood the vision we were going for and really figured out how to make it a lot better than we would have done it if we just done it on our own. So
That's awesome.
It's cool. It's like a real producer, like
Yeah, right.
very subtly like altering the course of what we were doing without us even necessarily realizing it. So it's great. He's really good at what he does, and it totally made sense why he is who he is and so
For
successful.
sure.
Oh yeah.
Is that hard living in different cities, like to collaborate and then come together? And
We're at the point.
Yeah, yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, technology is at the point where
Yeah.
it really makes it streamlined to live wherever you need to. And
little jam sesh, like
Will
over
can
like
just send
Skype
out
or-
Yeah, live
demos.
stream
and we
jams
can
in.
hop on the same session and do our thing, and
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's nice. We're able to afford kind of when we need to get together, we can, which I don't think at the beginning would have made sense. You know,
Yeah.
like, but at the point we are now, especially for like touring stuff and rehearsing, and again, like getting ready for the studio, it makes sense to kind of do it from afar. And you know, it's not that much different if we were all in the same city. It's just
Yeah.
a little bit of a lag time, but other than that, it's kind of great.
Mhm.
So you guys all record together?
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah. We
that's
all
cool.
came together in Nashville,
Yeah.
lived together, and you know, did the whole thing. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Once you're in the studio, it's kind of we didn't want to be that band who's not all there at the same time, but
Right.
The energy's different.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
And but yeah, like gearing up for that or gearing up for a tour, we're at the point now where we're very streamlined in a good way.
Yeah.
That's
you know?
good.
So we kind of know what we need to do from afar.
Yeah.
So I've been a fan for a really long time.
Oh, thank you.
But I didn't like. I just realized that in this song, "Something to Believe In,"
Yeah.
it references Jeremiah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was like, wow, like did I like miss a lot of the meanings? But
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
No, that one was. I remember that I threw that in there because Jeremiah is a prophet in the Old Testament who like basically tells Israel, you about to like clean up or you're screwed.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. I think there was a book in my parents' house that had that name in it, and so I was just like, oh, okay, sure, and it like fit the syllables. There really was no sort of like.
Religious. tie
Trust me,
there.
I was
Yeah.
not thinking that hard about lyrics at that point in my life. So there
It's
was no
beautiful.
sort of
Yeah.
like overtly religious vibes in any of the lyrics, but that one in particular just happened to be literally like me sitting at my parents' piano, and there's a book. My dad has these huge bookcases at home, and there was one with that name in it.
That's
And
cool.
it was like, oh, okay, I guess that story kind of fits the moment in the
Nice.
song.
Yeah, I was listening to your other songs after. and I was
Yeah,
like,
you can get
Kinda-
down
Are
that
there
rabbit
messages in the
hole.
other ones?
Yeah, no,
That's
no.
funny,
It's pretty straightforward stuff. So when you're trying to draw like.
We were in the
When
car.
you're starting
like,
to draw
is
that out,
this-
it's a little. I'll tell you right now, it's not what I was thinking. You can do that, but
My kitchen table.
yeah, exactly.
right. And you also got a chance to work with the singer from One Republic.
Ryan Tedder.
Yeah. He worked on a track with you.
Yeah, so he and I had done a song with a guy named Orrin Yoel. So we didn't spend too much time together. Very little actually in the studio. Came by, liked what he heard. Orrin was really the he was the producer of our third album, Overnight, and
Okay.
he and Ryan had been buddies through one of Ryan's writers, a guy named Noel, and yeah, like I've always been a fan of One Republic. And
Yeah, he's a big producer too, isn't he?
big songwriter, yeah.
Songwriter
So
and
the fact that you can get do a song with him is kind of like learning basketball from Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Right.
You know. So it's like nice to get to see his little tricks a little bit, you know, and but yeah, it was really Orrin who kind of took that song to where it went. He was
Okay.
really the catalyst. Ryan was just kind of there, added his bit in the chorus, and then had to split. So Orrin and I finished it, and it was one of those ones where it was a no-brainer to go on that third album. But someone like Ryan, it's like, you know, even just getting to see him kind of do his thing and talk to him a little bit, it's like, oh, this is like, again, like learning how to shoot a free throw from Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it must have been pretty inspiring.
Yeah, and he's always been a big, you know, not many bands doing what they're doing right now, which is cool to see.
When I saw that you worked with him, I'm like, oh, you guys are kind of up the same realm as
Yeah,
what-
yeah,
what
that
he
kind of adult
does,
contemporary.
which there really aren't a
Pop.
whole lot of bands that are that
It's
have
very
that
short
sound.
list. Train.
Like
Maroon
the
5,
Fray, I can
The
think.
Fray,
It's kinda,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Besides the like you guys, the Fray and One Republic are
Yeah.
kind of it. Like
It's
as
an
far as that
interesting-
sound.
It's a funny world, man. It's a dying breed, but it's fun.
I hope not.
But
no. I think there always gonna be room for that kind of music where it's just great songs and
Right.
organic sounding pop is never gonna go away. And even now, more so now than ever. But It's bands. Yeah, a lot of bands are either alternative or like boy bands. So it's kind
Yeah.
of hard to find that middle ground.
Yeah,
But
there's not a whole lot of
We've always
like,
been
keys
living
and
on that edge.
vocals. Yeah.
the
Soft
razor's
rockers.
edge.
Yeah.
Soft rockers, indeed.
Do you guys remember going in the studio for the first time? Like when you put out the first record? Like,
Oh
was
man,
that,
we put out an EP in Richmond. We went to Richmond, Virginia.
Oh yeah, 16, 17 years old.
Did
Yeah,
your
we-
parents pay for that, or
I think my
No, we earned money for
I
it.
feel like
like mowing lawns or something?
my dad definitely paid for the pressing. If I remember correctly. I don't
know how
remember.
we paid
Our
for it.
parents were all paying for stuff at that point. Yeah, everybody's parents took a turn on that too. So.
Right.
Stayed at my sister's place.
Yeah, we stayed at Johnny's sister's. We recorded like 15 songs in 2 days or something.
Yeah.
Just like crank through 'em.
Like locally where you guys live?
We were in Richmond, Virginia, so like an hour away
away.
from
Oh,
Charlottesville.
okay.
Johnny's
It was
sister
a,
lived
it was
there.
a big trip, 1 hour away. Yeah.
Got snowed in that next day, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh
it
my
was
God.
wild. It was. We had no idea what we were doing. We just were again cranking through songs. Just no like. It was like we do 2 takes, and it was like great, cool.
yeah.
I think we had a very realistic idea about what was going to happen, but we liked it. It's called Live from the Recording Studio.
nice?
So clever.
Is that the CD you gave the
No,
BMI
no.
person?
That was like we printed I think
That would've
100 of
ended there.
those, and yeah, that would have never gone anywhere. We did another one later on in college. Once I started kind of writing a little better songs, and we were a little better musicians. That was a lot better. That was the one, and then we worked with Chris Coip, who produced our first record, and
Right.
he was the one who really brought it to the next level. That people started paying attention. So
And was that before or after you guys got picked up by the label?
that was before. So
oh, okay.
he was kind of found us through somebody. I don't remember how he found us.
I think Chris Sampson,
Yeah,
who was
yeah.
just
Yeah,
talking
right.
to us that
Somebody at Red Light, our eventual management company, just kind of said, kind
Check
of pointed us
these
in
guys
his
out.
direction. And he was out kind of 30 minutes outside of town and had a
Mhm.
big barn and a big studio out there. And his co-producer engineer was in a band that we'd all heard of from Richmond, like a band in the 90s who had done well and was like signed and like put out
Oh.
records and that kind of thing called Agents of Good Roots. So we knew of them, and they were like, hey, come out here and record. Like, we just want to work with you. We won't charge you anything. And
Wow.
he kind of developed that. And
Definitely.
then once we started getting label attention, he just brought it to a level where the songs were good enough to be kind of, at least you could see the potential in it. And he was instrumental in that for sure.
And that became what became the first Parachute record? Or
Some of it, yeah.
Some
So
of
some of the songs,
some
we
of
did
the
like maybe
songs.
2 or 3 with him at that point that were kind of taken to that next level. And
Yeah.
then once we had that deal in place, he was able to do more. So
That's really cool.
yeah,
And
he was again.
Was it intimidating going into, or was he so like kind of cool and?
We were so cocky, I think, at that point. It was like,
Oh, really?
oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
perfect.
point. He's a very cool guy.
He's very,
Very chill.
Understood that a bunch of college boys
Exactly.
were gonna come out.
Yeah.
He got the cockiness, I think, and understood how to harness that in a good way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a blast out there with him. Those were fun. We'd go after class and hang out
Wow.
there all night and just record. So it's still out there, and a bunch of friends, bands do the same thing now.
Yep.
Nice.
Did social media or like MySpace or anything like that
Yeah.
help?
Oh yeah.
College, my wife said her first memory of me was in class, in the back of the class, getting yelled at for just friending people on MySpace. So that was the one class we ever had together.
Weekly goals. Every member had a friend, a certain amount of people in certain cities.
Because it was like the
Oh.
labels would be like, hey, we love what you're doing, but if I'm going to sign you, I need 10,000 friends. We'd be
Yeah.
like, "All right,
Really?
that's easy."
Wow.
It's just brute force at that point. So,
Mm-hmm.
which was such a dumb metric for them. But for us, it was like no sweat. So
Yeah.
we had Johnny's sister's old computer running a bot that friended people.
Sweet, yeah.
All of us had to do like 200 people a day. And we got there in like 3 weeks, but it was really funny. It was like, yeah, all my friends to this day say like, yeah, you in college was just you in the back of the room on your laptop friending people.
Just friending people on MySpace.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
Is that-
Was.
were you and your wife like dating at the time, or
No,
that's how
she
she like
did
saw
not.
you?
She liked our band. She was friends with our tour manager at the time, this guy
Yeah,
Luke Raven. So they were friends. So I kind of knew her through that. But no, she wouldn't give me the time of day at that point.
That's really cool. I had no idea that that's
Yeah.
that MySpace had it.
MySpace was so it was such a big deal in the music industry back then. Like
Yeah.
they measured so much by that.
Yeah.
Again, foolishly, but it really was like you go into these meetings and they'd be like, "Hey, we love what you're doing, but we need 10,000 friends." And it was like every single one said the same thing. So it was pretty wild.
So you would just hope that people would just accept
Add you
your.
back.
They all accept.
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
everyone was accept. No one had any idea what they were doing at that point.
Yeah.
So it was
They just
like,
want more friends.
yeah, we were all like, we were exploiting it to the max, but it worked out great.
That's amazing. That's
kinda
so
miss
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they even kind of stuck around for a minute
They tried to
later. They
revive.
tried to like be
Yeah,
just
it was-
music, and I was like,
It was never meant to be.
yeah.
It was too ununiform and the Wild West, but that's what I kind of liked about it. So,
Yeah.
And you could listen, like, it's just not the same anymore.
No.
It was a one-stop shop for all things band, which was cool.
Right.
You could get all the info you needed right there, which is great. And no one's really replicated that since.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Do you remember like the early on, like the first songs you ever wrote?
Yeah, I wrote one. My whole family could probably sing it to you because I sang it so much. I was really young, maybe early elementary school, and I was like playing guitar that's open. It's called "Oh Baby Gone to Texas," and it was about a woman who left me. So not much has
Wow.
changed. But then the first I remember the first good song I wrote that was like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. Is a song called "One Small Step" that was like kind of our calling card in college, and that was the
Okay.
first one where I was like, oh, people are gonna like this, and felt like that was the one where people started like being able to sing it back, and like we play it live and people would react, and it was like, oh, okay, this is like the next level of songwriting. So it never really made a record of ours, but because I think I got better from there. But that was the first one where I distinctly remember writing it in my dorm room, being like, this is clever,
Yeah.
Or like this is like got a little spice to it. So, and then once we played it live, it was like, oh, okay, cool.
And and
It felt like it was a definitive thing.
that must have been pretty cool to see people actually react and like knowing the lyrics to your song.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where it kind of got passed around, and again, MySpace at that time threw it up there, and UVA students were hearing it, and
Yeah,
people at kids'
bunch of
school.
college shows later.
Yeah, exactly.
Starting to work.
Do you have any advice for aspiring artists?
I mean, yeah, we get that. We get asked that a lot, and I think for me, it's always just. I think for all of us, it's really just there's no. You just got to keep practicing. Really, you just just don't ever stop practicing, and don't ever just stop creating. 'cause
Play as
it only
much
just
as
gets
possible.
better. Play as much as possible.
Yeah, and if you're writing songs, like write literally as many songs as you can, because that's the only way to get better. It's like listen to a bunch of music and write it.
Yeah.
But I think, especially now, like there's so many ways to get signed, or so many ways to get spins on Spotify or get playlisted or whatever. But in the end, like the fastest way to do all that stuff is like just write a good song, and people are like, it's like literally the best shortcut ever, just to write a really good song. And I think if you can consistently do that, like you'll always be able to do something in the music industry, and especially if you can play or if you can write, like those two things will help
Right.
you in immeasurable ways.
Mhm.
So practice a lot, and don't stop practicing your instrument,
Yep.
because we did, and
Nope.
now we're like back to practicing. We're definitely, yeah. If I had practiced as much in college on guitar as I did on Guitar Hero, it'd be a whole new ballgame. It'd be over for everybody. But yeah, it was. I think for me as the writer was writing, for them it was playing, and like
Yeah.
as much as you can at that, especially in that early point,
Mhm.
practicing a lot together is great.
Oh yeah. Well,
Stay hydrated, man.
yeah.
It's a hot world out there. Water is so important.
Bringing it backward.